United States Congressman Robert Garcia is offering up three UAP amendments. Remember, UAP is the new hype term for UFOs. It stands for Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena. That way it encompasses anything and everything coming from space, in the air, the sea, the ground, other dimensions. I don't know. Anyway, so this is exciting. Last year, we tried to pass, the United States government, tried to pass a UAP amendment, which did pass in the National Defense Authorization Act, but not the full amendment, right? Part of it got, quote unquote, gutted. Well, round two, y'all. They're going to come back this year, which I've been saying for months. I've been saying that since the beginning. This is just how U.S. politics works. They'll always try something again, right? They'll keep trying and trying and trying. So, boom, we've got three different UAP amendments that are going to be pushed, right, to get voted on for next year's National Defense Authorization Act. So this is exciting news. Let's dive in and see what these are all about. And we've got some clips from Congressman Robert Garcia as well. All right, guys? If you're new to the channel and you like content like this, please hit that subscribe button. I put out a new video every day, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. I do not miss a day. And please hit that like button, vetters. That really helps out the video. So thank y'all so much for the support there. And of course, comment down below. What do you think about Congressman Robert Garcia's three UAP amendments? Right? All right. Three, y'all. Let's go. Let's dive in. All right, first thing we're going to do is look at Congressman Robert Garcia's Twitter account. This is what he tweeted out today, in fact. This morning, he wrote, "I'm offering three UAP amendments for the National Defense Authorization Act. We must continue to responsibly push for safe reporting of UAPs and bring that transparency to the public. This is critical for our national security." And again, anytime you hear UAP, they just mean UFO. All right, and if we go a little bit further, here's what the amendments are. My first amendment creates a UAP reporting mechanism for civilian pilots. Think of the Americans for Safe Aerospace, right? Ryan Graves' project, right? My second amendment includes UAP disclosure provisions from last year that were blocked, including a UAP records review board. So that's the one from last year, basically, right? They tried to have a 9-person panel review board, eminent domain, those sorts of things, right? So that's round two of that. So, and then the final amendment, he says, my final amendment ensures Aero has access to convert intel for investigations. Now, I'm not entirely sure what that means. I mean, I just said that. I just said that statement, right? But what does that exactly mean, and what does that entail? What is the full scope of that? Converting intel for investigations. So it sounds like Aero isn't going anywhere, but maybe they're going to get some new direction, some help, right? And Aero has access to convert intel for investigations. So basically, we're admitting, right, that Aero did not have full scope, breadth, openness to investigate and make the determinations that they made. Right? So, but again, I'm not sure exactly what that last amendment means. Convert intel for investigations. So we'll have to think, there'll be more information, I'm sure, to come out about that. Now, one of the ones that did get shared is this one right here. And this is the second amendment he was talking about, right? And this is the review board I was saying, right? Review board. Oh, hang on. Right here. Boom. All right. You can see Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Records Review Board. I think what the thing is this unidentified anomalous phenomena, well, that could be anything. That could be China, Russia, right? Any of our adversaries. Anything we just can't identify. That's all it means. The real, nugget is anything that mentions non-human intelligence, right? That's the key. That's what we're really looking for, because UAP doesn't mean extraterrestrial, right? But again, basically the idea was this. Look, in general, right? The president, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, shall appoint, without regard to political affiliation, 9 citizens of the United States to serve as members of the review board to ensure and facilitate the review, transmission to the archivist, and public disclosure of government records relating to unidentified anomalous phenomena, right? So I actually think this is a big deal. The review board. That's what I'm most interested in, right? Now, it also talks about eminent domain, which was something that they were bringing up, right? But not really, like, they didn't. That was a big sort of. Here, let me see if I can. Eminent. God, how do you spell eminent domain? Let's just put in domain. Okay. Here we go. Exercise of eminent domain. The federal government shall exercise eminent domain over any and all recovered technologies of unknown origin and biological evidence of non-human intelligence that may be controlled by private persons or entities in the interest of the public good. B, availability to review board. Any and all such material, should it exist, that's important, shall be made available to the review board for personal examination and subsequent disclosure determination at a location suitable to the controlling authority of said material and in a timely manner, conducive to the objectives of the review board in accordance with the requirements of this subtitle. And then it says, actions of the review board. In carrying out subsection B, the review board shall consider and render decisions, right? So this would be anything they get from eminent domain. That's what they're talking about here. 1, whether the material examined constitutes technologies of unknown origin or biological evidence of non-human intelligence beyond a reasonable doubt, right? What are we talking about? We're talking a crashed saucer, a flying saucer, or alien bodies, okay? Literally, that's what this means. Why are we trying to look? The government's going to hide it behind these technical terms here, but we all know what they mean. All right. So they want to know if the materials they get and examine, is it of unknown origin? Is it biological evidence of non-human intelligence beyond a reasonable doubt? That's a tricky statement to say, right? Beyond a reasonable doubt. What does that mean? Whether recovered technologies of unknown origin, biological evidence of non-human intelligence, or a particular subset of material qualifies for postponement of disclosure under this subtitle. And 3, what changes, if any, to the current disposition of said material should the federal government make to facilitate full disclosure. So what does that mean? That basically means if they determine that, oh crap, this saucer or this being is, we're going to have to postpone letting the American public know about this because of whatever reason, right? They're leaving that open, that by getting this material or biological material, right, either technological or biological, from eminent domain, if they get it and then decide, oh crap, we don't want to share this, we do need to keep this quiet, they can do that. The review board shall have access to all testimony from unidentified anomalous phenomena, witnesses, close observers, and legacy program personnel and whistleblowers within the federal government's possession as of and after the date of the enactment of this act in furtherance of review board disclosure determination responsibilities in section 1761 and subsection C of this section. Okay, just legalese. This review board, right, they get testimony, right? from UFO witnesses, close observers, and legacy program personnel. What they're getting at there is the reverse engineering programs, the crash retrieval programs, and sometimes they are the same program, which I don't understand. But they're basically saying they get access to that personnel, those people. Is it admitting that it exists right here by saying that legacy program personnel? What legacy program? That's what I think of when I think of legacy. Is what I just told you. Right. So basically, look, you can let's put in non-human. Wait, what? I mean, it's not. Oh, I see what they did there. So they've got non-human with a dash in it. If you try to search just non-space human, it will not come up. But I put non-human into this, finding it in this document. It came up 25 times. Right? So you've got it on page 4. Boom, boom. Look at that. It just keeps coming up. Living or deceased. That non-human intelligence, non-human intelligence, non-human intelligence. Just saying, a lot of it. Now, does that mean anything? Let's be real. It's interesting to have that as a proposed amendment going into the National Defense Authorization Act. Think about that. Slowly but surely, we're creeping open the door. We got our foot in the door, and we're not letting that thing close. Right? I mean, look, I get the frustration with disclosure. We want the information. Like, I get it. But I also get the other side of the coin, which is it's going to take time to get this really going. Like, before, it wasn't really going. Now it really is, right? So I think it does just take time, and I get that that's frustrating. And look, grifters, hoaxers, LARPers, they can use that time to their advantage, and they do. But that doesn't take away from the true goal or mission takes time. It just does. Disclosure is just going to take time. If you want uncontrolled disclosure or catastrophic disclosure, if you look hard enough, it's already there, right? How many people have come forward with their stories? A ton. More than, you know what I mean? I mean, what are we talking about? So it's all about what you want to ask yourself and what decision you want to make. You get to basically decide if you got disclosure or not. That's a personal choice, honestly. Right? Because people within the government have said it. People outside the government have said it. Has the official statement from our own government said it? No. Is that really the disclosure we're looking for? Yeah. It's a more global disclosure, right? Kind of just out there in the open. But when that happens, right, people are going to be like, I knew that already. So this is more just helping us get that full disclosure, not just that front-loaded disclosure of answering the one question, are we alone or not? I think everyone's going to have to answer that for themselves, regardless of what the government says. Because if we can't believe them about some of this, how could we believe them if they came out and said, we're not alone? Why would we even believe that? Because it's what you want to hear. You haven't believed them up until this point of them saying, we're alone. We have no evidence of aliens, right? You don't believe that. So if they were to say we have aliens, you would then believe that? What would be the one difference that would make you believe or not? Evidence. You see? Evidence breaks those lines. Evidence breaks that wall of do I believe or not? Because evidence speaks for itself. It's not about believing or not. It's about what's true or not, right? So then it becomes, that's why we need evidence, So you don't have to make a decision. You don't have to make a choice. It'd be pretty easy. The choice would be made for you with the evidence. So that's really what we need. But anyway, this is interesting to see all of this. So again, links in the description. Go check it out. And again, it is very interesting that Robert is going to be releasing 3 UAP amendments, right? 3, y'all. This is crazy. All right, look, let's go to a couple videos of Robert Garcia talking about UAP UFOs. This one is from the hearing last July. We're coming up on a full year, can't believe it, since David Grush testified in Congress, along with Commander David Fravor and Ryan Graves as well, right? So let's hear from Robert Garcia here.
I will recognize National Security Subcommittee Ranking Member Garcia for 10 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank first our witnesses for joining us today. I want to begin by thanking you all for your service to our country and for sharing your voices today and your courage to be here as well. To Mr. Graves, particularly grateful to you to spend some time that we had for you to share with candor some of your experiences, so I appreciate that as well. I do want to thank all the members of our subcommittee today and also those that are here and have waved on for their incredible interest in this issue, particularly to Congressman Burchett. I know that your leadership has brought us to this place today, and I want to thank you for that, as well as everyone else that's been engaged in this work. I also want to thank the oversight staff, who I know has been working very hard to ensure that today's hearing is serious, that it's transparent, and that it also provides appropriate answers, as our oversight body always demands. Now, it's really important that we're here in a bipartisan way to have this conversation, which really, to the heart of it, is about national security and key to the subcommittee's core purpose. This is the subcommittee on national security of the Oversight Committee. Now, our witnesses will testify today that UAPs have posed a serious safety threat, and we must understand this. More broadly, we're dealing with real questions that get to the heart of our faith in government. Faith in our institutions, as we all know, is at an all-time low. Partisanship and alternative facts make it too easy to doubt narrative or our institutions. But this hearing will offer the public unique perspectives, building on years of reporting by both federal agencies and the independent media. Now, some of the earliest reporting on this issue was a groundbreaking 2017 New York Times report, which revealed research, as we know now, on unidentified anomalous phenomena, or as many call UFOs, by the Defense Intelligence Agency. Mr. Graves and Commander Favor's experiences with UAPs have also been documented by the public, not just by the New York Times, but CNN and many other national news outlets. Now, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence has published public reports documenting UAPs, and on June 9, 2022, NASA announced that the agency is commissioning a study to, of course, examine unidentified anomalous phenomena. Now, the sheer number of reports, whistleblowers, and stories of unidentified anomalous phenomena should raise real questions and warrant investigation and oversight, and that's why we are here today. Now, pilots have reported encounters for years. Now, because of the stigma around reporting these incidents, we still don't have a complete picture of actually what's going on, particularly as our witnesses will testify on the civilian side, and that is a real problem that we have today in the country. Now, it's very important that we show that Democrats and Republicans in Congress can come together in a bipartisan way to cut through misinformation and to look at the facts in a serious and thoughtful manner. If we are to advance oversight and public disclosure, we must also gain the broad support of the public. We will succeed getting facts out to the public faster if there is a broad public support as part of the process. Now, I understand fully the Department of Defense is hesitant to share information that could also undermine our national security by revealing information on the capabilities of our own aircraft, our sensors, and other sensitive material. At the same time, many people believe that we're withholding information from them, and that is dangerous also. I believe in openness and transparency. That is also the role of Congress. And I want to trust that the American people will be able to weigh the evidence and make up their own minds. Now, we have incidents where sensors, sometimes even multiple types of sensors, detect things that we cannot explain. UAPs, whatever they may pose a serious threat to our military or civilian aircraft, and that must be understood. Now, my career and training as a longtime and career educator and teacher and researcher tell me that we should never rule anything out. We know that our space, of course, is vast and undiscovered. I also want to note that Mr. Sean Kirkpatrick, Director of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, the component of the DoD office that investigates UAP data, has testified before the Senate this year that his unit has found no evidence of extraterrestrial activity. NASA has also stated that they don't have evidence of extraterrestrial life either, and we've heard this, of course, from some of our government agencies. And we should remind viewers and witnesses, which I think is really important, that we also cannot share classified information in public settings. But questions, of course, remain that people want to see data and information for themselves. The enormous interest in the hearing today underscores the importance of a fair and open look at the evidence from witnesses who can share their unique perspectives. Now, I know I certainly have a lot of questions, and I know that all the members of our committee do as well. We should come to this hearing with an open mind, and we should not let our existing ideas restrict us on either side. I hear over and over from many agencies the stigma around reporting and investigating UAPs prevents us from getting real answers. We know that whistleblowers have reported harassment, intimidation, or stigma as well, and this is not acceptable. If people can't report incidents which would have national security or safety implications, then that also has serious consequences for us. As ranking member of this subcommittee, I know my job would be completely impossible if whistleblowers or others feel intimidated to come before this committee. We can't be afraid of asking questions, and we can't be afraid of the truth. I'm proud to say that this hearing builds upon bipartisan work by members of the House and Senate dating many years back, which has sought to increase awareness within the Department of Defense and to mandate more of Congress of UAPs. We know the Senate is taking up an amendment to their Defense Authorization Bill, which will create a commission with broad declassification authority, and we should all agree that that is an important step. Members of both parties and senior officials in multiple administrations have taken an interest in this issue, and we're proud to carry and build that confidence in the American people. This hearing will also not be the end of this discussion, but a new chapter and start to years and years of work that many folks, both in the public and within government, have been working on. We should encourage more reporting, not less, on UAPs. The more we understand, the safer we will be. We will hear testimony from witnesses today with a long record of service to the American people and with subject matter expertise. Our witnesses have a unique opportunity to share their perspective, insights, and their experiences with the American people. And I encourage all of my colleagues to engage with these difficult questions with an open mind and to follow the facts on behalf of our country. I also just want to say more broadly that we should look at this hearing and believe that everything is on the table as it relates to UAPs. I think an open mind is absolutely the best. I want to yield the 2.5 minutes, the remainder of my time, to the representative from Florida, Representative Moskowitz, for an opening statement. He also has been very much engaged in this issue, and I want to thank him for his leadership.
Booyah. Great. What a great dude. How did I saw all this, but I guess this guy just flew under the radar for me a little bit. Welcome the new, man of the hour in Congress for UAP disclosure, Mr. Robert Garcia. I bet you'll start to see his name and his face a lot more, and people are going to want to start interviewing him, just like they have done with Tim Burchett and Luna and other people, right? Robert Garcia, welcome to the show. Very excited. That guy's slick, man. Well said. Really enjoyed that opening statement that he made, again, from the hearing last year, right? We're coming up on 1 year now from that statement that he just made. How far along are we, y'all? What do you think? Have we moved the needle? Are we further along? I guess it depends in what way, right? Because that's overall, if you add everything up, are you breaking it down into different things, right? Did we move forward on this topic, but we moved back on this other one? Did we move forward over here, but we moved back over here, right? And then overall, where are we? It's really going to depend just how you look at things, what you focus on, right? This is going to be a different answer for everybody. Me personally, I think we have moved forward overall, right? There are some things that we have moved back on. And this is my own, stuff, right? This is my own thoughts. Yours are going to be your own, of whether or not you think we've moved along. But I am very excited for Robert Garcia and what he has to bring to the table. I have one more clip, okay? I'm going to end on of Robert Garcia. Right? And after this hearing, this guy clearly is involved, right? This guy clearly wants to do something, 3 UAP amendments, right? And he seems to be really leading the charge here. And I'm excited. Again, that guy's slick, well put together, well spoken, well researched. I like him a lot. So we'll see where this goes, right? Tell me in the comments, what do y'all think of Robert Garcia and how we're going to move ahead with this, right? And how the discussion of eminent domain, I'm calling it right now, I'm sure it's already being talked about, eminent domain is going to come up again. That is going to be a huge issue that people within the UFO community are going to fight against. They are not going to want our government going to take stuff from private companies, right? Just like the last year's, Brandon Fugel, Travis Taylor, right? Jay Stratton. That's what Daniel Sheehan was talking about right? They were fighting against eminent domain. They didn't want the government to be able to go and take anything away that they were finding on Skinwalker Ranch or whatever, right? Brandon Fugel is the owner of Skinwalker Ranch, and Travis Taylor is the lead scientist on the show. He was also in the UFO task force, right? The Pentagon's Office to Study UFOs before AARO. And Jay Stratton was the head of that office, right? These guys, Jay Stratton is out now, and but they all were not wanting eminent domain. And if you look at it from a political standpoint, a constitutional standpoint, I agree. Right? In the sense that I don't want to give my government more power. I don't know if that's the answer. I don't know if you know what you're asking for. You might have just made it easier because remember, we also think that the United States government has these secret black legacy programs of running UFOs. The CIA's involved, FBI, you name the agency. There's a story about them being involved some way, and other agencies we don't know about. Now we're going to give them the power to go take stuff from Lockheed and these other private aerospace companies, even if we think they have it. I don't think that's a good idea. On the surface, you say, oh, well, Congress wants the power to go get this stuff. Oh, Lockheed has UFOs? Well, let's put this into law so that way we can go get it from Lockheed. Is that how we think it's going to work? We're just going to walk in with coffee and donuts and grab a flying saucer? That's not how this is going to happen. And again, giving the government the power of eminent domain, how are they going to determine what to take and what not to take? Are they going to just start taking stuff and, right? They're going to be like, whoa, this isn't, this is my printer, Bob. This isn't even a flying saucer. Why are you taking that? Like, the government's just going to start coming in and taking everything from Lockheed. Why are they taking my car? Again, giving the government too much power is not a good idea. And maybe that's an American ideal. Because let's be honest, let's look back through history. Did any government with all the power they could want do well? Treat their people well? No. And what is the government? All it is people, ourselves, put in positions of power. And that's where it goes haywire, right? That thirst for that power, and giving eminent domain is that power. So I don't know. I see all the arguments here, and that argument is going to come up again. Again, the UFO community is divided there. And I think if you think about it a little bit more and start to understand the entire situation, you may feel a little differently about it yourself. So is that the best route to go? What about offering a partnership, an offer to these companies to work together rather than we're just going to come in and take it? Again, giving our government that much, I don't know if that's a good idea. So anyway, curious to read the comments and other parts of this amendment that you've read. Again, link in the description. Go check it out. What do you think? what's going to change about it, right, moving forward before the end of the year. Because we'll talk about it a lot more, and it's election season. Yikes. All right. Which, no matter what happens, Biden is going to be signing this NDAA, even if he loses the election, right? The new president won't come in until January, 20th, 2025. So, no matter what, Biden is the one that's going to sign this in, or not. All right, let's end on this last clip of Robert Garcia. This is him in an interview after a SCIF meeting, right? A secured, compartmentalized information facility, right, where they can exchange classified information or share classified information. You're not allowed to talk about what's discussed in there. Well, a few months ago, there was a SCIF meeting about part of David Grush's claims, okay? Part. And after the SCIF meeting on David Grush's claims, they interviewed a few of these Congress members, right? And this is Robert Garcia's interview after the SCIF meeting and learning about more specifics, more details about David Grush's claims, right? And remember, Robert Garcia was at the congressional hearing. I just showed you a clip from it, right, where David Grush testified. Right? So he's clearly aware of the story. And considering the context of now, he's releasing these 3 amendments, right? So considering that all, this is what he says as he comes out after David Grush's, or after the SCIF meeting, learning about David Grush's claims, some of them.
We got to talk about this more.
Okay.
So, I mean, does any of this go toward your conversation about trying to get this bipartisan bill? I mean, is there something that touched on this?
I mean, look, I think that the bipartisan bill came out of a discussion at a first hearing to ensure that pilots have an ability to report UAPs. There right now is no system for pilots or aviation personnel to report UAPs, whatever UAPs may be, and so the bill would actually do that. Obviously, we can't talk about the details of the briefing, but I think there was some interesting information, and so I think that this is a topic that I think is a national security issue, and it's really important that there's disclosure and transparency. I think that's what the public wants. I think it's also a very serious topic, and so we've got to just take it with seriousness. It is not a joke.
And without giving up state secrets here, we had a couple other members who were just here who said they were disappointed in what they were bipartisan, Democrat or Republican. But one member used the term that what they were exploring here were, her phrase, interdimensional beings. Is that something that we're dealing with here potentially?
I mean, I think it's easy to be disappointed when you don't get all the information that you want, which I understand. I would have loved to receive much more information, but I think that it's reasonable to say that everyone that was in the room received probably new information. I certainly did, and I think it's interesting, additional information to continue the investigation and ask more questions. So definitely have more questions than less questions.
Does that term mean anything to you?
I'm not going to get into any terms. I just think that it's more important to focus on that this is a serious topic and it deserves serious attention. And I actually encourage also members of the media to continue covering this topic. I think that's really important. It is not a fringe topic. It is a serious national security topic.
Continuing the investigation, what does that mean? Is that more hearings? Is that what do you think?
Well, I mean, as the ranking member of the subcommittee that oversees obviously this topic, I would like to have more hearings. And so I think we've made that request already of the committee, and I think that the hearing requires more investigation.
Who would you like to hear from next?
Look, I think it's public knowledge that everyone, folks, this is an interdepartmental effort as it relates to the agencies involved in oversight and in the UAP conversation. And so it's obviously not just the Defense Department, I think, which is at the center of this, but also our intelligence agencies.
Are you satisfied with the answers you're getting from the intelligence community today during the briefing?
I mean, I would not describe it that way. I understand that classification is complicated, and I certainly want more answers. But sure, I would have loved to receive more information. But
I would not characterize the discussion as not providing new information, and certainly interesting information.
One of your colleagues said that they seem to keep sending people who either intentionally don't know or intentionally not going to say, as opposed to just.
I would disagree with that assessment. I think that you have serious professionals that have long distinguished records in public service. They're trying their best to navigate a very complex issue, and yes, it's true that probably all of us want more answers and more information. But I think that we received additional information today, which I think will lead to other actions.
Is this stuff overclassified?
I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I'd like it to be less classified.
Did you learn anything that bothered you or shook your beliefs?
I think we want more information.
Thank you,
Thank
Congressman.
you.
Like that guy. Gives good answers. Very diplomatic, very political. Like, he knows the game. That's okay. We need somebody like that working for us. Like he said, he kept focusing on, look, the main thing is that this is something that needs to be looked into, right? Like, he kept bringing it back to that, and that's a good sign. So, for me, anyway, right? This is, but interesting. So, curious to read the comments, see what everyone's going to say about this. I'm sure there's just going to be a lot of, hashtag nothing burger. I get it. Again, it's about how this whole topic and just about anything in life is all about the expectations you set for yourself, right? I know people like to direct outwards towards other people. How can you believe that, you idiot? I'm the smart person for believing what I believe. You're stupid for believing what you believe because you believe X. Therefore, you're stupid, right? People are so worried about what other people think rather than just, well, this is what I think. You think that? Okay. This is what I think. Some people don't even worry about what they think. What are you thinking? Tell me what you're thinking. Oh, you think that? You're stupid. You should think this way because X, Y, Z. And it's interesting because that's the real dynamic. That's where the energy is. That's where the story is. That's where, right? I think if people just focused on their own beliefs, listened to others' beliefs, but just left it at that, right? You don't need to judge them, or why try to change someone's mind? I think some people feel like, oh, if I present enough evidence or say it just the right way, they'll go, aha, you're right. God, you're smart. And then that person goes, aha, I'm smart. Like, what do we need to get other people to think like you? Like, what's the point of that? Not sure. So, in order to move, right, so depending on how you see the topic and how you judge other people for how they see it, you're going to like this UAP amendment or not like it or think it's all BS or whatever. But one thing I can guarantee that will happen is people will be upset with other people for what they think about it, right, which is interesting, to say the least. So, yeah, I personally, again, it's all about the expectations you set. What are you expecting? If those expectations aren't met, you're then disappointed. Right? I've said this before on the show, and that's how it is. So we'll see. How disappointed are you? Or how happy are you? I personally think this is a step forward in the right direction. At least one lane of this disclosure movement, right? We got some Congress members, a ranking member, right? 3 UAP amendments. Come on. They're clearly talking, non-human intelligence mentioned 25 times. They're even talking about it, discussing it, considering it. I mean, we have made progress, okay, in my opinion, for me. So, all right, y'all. We'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Don't fight too much in the comments, okay? Be respectful. Peace.